Thank you. Sorry. I think we think what happened is that this session was initially configured maybe only for an hour and a half. So it blew up on y'all at liquor back on the shelf. That's where I'm heading. When this is all over, I can tell you that. That's where I'm heading, Kelly. I think it blew up at 3 o'clock because it was perhaps only configured for an hour and a half. And I reminded Eric that we needed to, and he may just not have gotten around to that. So thank you, Eric, if you did that in the background. And sorry for that, everybody. I needed a break anyway, so I got a couple sips. Everybody back? Everybody okay? Give me just a couple seconds. I want to see the people list. Looks like we've got a boatload of people back in here. So it looks like most everybody is popping back in. So let's see if we are good to go. All right, let's work with it. All right, let's go back to where I left off. Let me back up just a hair to reiterate what I did up to the point that we exploded. I believe everybody saw me talking about the append to array variable. Is that a yay for everybody? Or do I need to back up to there? Yay. Okay, awesome. All right, so let me revisit from there. Let me hold my fingers back up again, right? I've got a gift with 3 splits that append to the array variable, runs through the first split, holds on to the description, runs the second time, holds the description, runs the third time, holds the description. The problem is that I cannot get that data out of the variable directly and do something with it in my email in a clean way. So I'm going to utilize this feature called a join action to manipulate each of those fund descriptions, tag them together, separated by a comma or a semicolon, and then place that data inside of my email. So I need to create this join statement, and I'm going to do it outside of the loop. I don't do it in the loop. I do it outside of the loop, but I'll do it here above my email, and I'll call on something called this join, this data operation called a join here. The join is giving me the ability to choose, first of all, what array I am going to join. That's what it's intended to do. So when I click on my dynamic content, we will see my variable up at the top of the screen that I created called fund, and that's the thing that I'm going to go back and join together in this particular case. How do I want to join it? I want to join it with a semicolon and a space. So I'm manually putting that in, no quotation marks, nothing. It takes everything off that screen. If I'd prefer to do a comma, I could do a comma. So that's the join. All right, now, there is one additional thing that I need to do, but I am going to intentionally not do it and show you why. So I'm feeling pretty good at this point that I got everything that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and save it, but in reality, I'm missing one thing, and I'm going to go back and kind of prove that to you with one final test. Brenda or Gabriella, I think one of you might not be muted, if you wouldn't mind. I'm hearing some background noise over there. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and run my test again and run the flow and wait impatiently for 2 additional emails to show up so that we can see what these things look like. So let me go ahead and get rid of my junk. I know some of you are jealous. I only have 4 items in my inbox, but that really has nothing to do with being part-time. That just has to do with me being OCD, and I hate items in my inbox. Those are to-dos for me, and I don't like to-dos. So I tend to keep that pretty clean. All right, there's my 2 new emails. This one down at the bottom came from Alex. I really forgot to do something, didn't I? I never even modified my email. After I joined everything together, I didn't do anything with it. That was totally unintentional. Yeah.
They're asking to see the append the array again. For some reason, some of them missed it. It like
Oh,
had a lag time. So they're
okay.
asked what are the parameters in the append to array. Thanks,
Okay. Is
everyone.
everybody okay if we go back, revisit that? We all did. Okay. I'll go back and do that. Let me delete my work here, and let me go back and redo the append. Not a problem at all. So we have got the fund split ID, so we know what we're working with, but we need to extract the description, the fund description. So within that loop, I'm going to again click the plus sign and do a search for an append to array action, append to or append array variable, append to array variable. So I'll grab that variable action, and then I will reach up into the name field, and I only have one variable that I'm working with, and it's the variable called fund. So that's the one that I want to append. And dynamically, what I want it to grab is the fund description, the display name of the fund, the display name of the fund. So again, looping through first description, second description, third description, hold on to it, do something with it here in just a bit, okay? So that action is going to do the loop, and it's going to perform what it needs to do and stuff that value into each of the array variables. I then need to make some sense out of it using the join. So again, I did that outside of the email, but above the email, but outside of the loop. So I'll click my plus sign and do the join again. The join is going to join my array, my fund array, and I'm going to separate that with a semicolon and a space. And so that represents the join. What I failed to do before, that was totally unintentional, is that I haven't put any of that information back into the email to make some sense out of it. So perhaps underneath the gift amount, I want to call out something like gift splits. And so dynamically now, I am going to reach into my magic dynamic bucket, and notice that we've got a new item that appears at the top of the screen as a result of using that join. So I could take the output from that join. Wow, that is really ugly. Move my cursor in the wrong spot. The output of the join and put it at the end of that line that reads gift split. So now when I save and test, we should see the split information from each of those gifts appear. Now I'm going to tell you, some of you are going to be disappointed, and I'll explain why. All we're going to get is the split description. We're not going to get the split amount. I don't have time to do the split amount, but it's basically the same way. Declare a new variable for the split amounts, grab the split amounts and put them in the appropriate spot, just like I did in the email. I'm just getting the description right now from a time perspective. I'm going to be limited to what I can do, but we will still get the split description. So let me run them. And I have intentionally left one error in this that I'm going to need to fix because I want to show it to you. So let me clean my inbox. And again, wait for my next set of emails to pop up. Everything looks like it works. There they are. Open up my first gift. First gift came from Alexander Hamilton. I could see that the gift splits came through accurately as annual fund. Remember from Razor's Edge, when I showed you Alex's record, he had a $35,000 gift to only the annual fund. And that is exactly what we're seeing in this email for Alex. Thumbs up. Go back to my second gift email for Yoshi. And Yoshi had a $40,000 gift split between the computer equipment fund and the annual fund. That worked. But what the heck's this other garbage over here at the beginning about another annual fund? There weren't 3 splits. Anybody know what happened? If you think through this, it kind of makes sense, but it's a little bit fuzzy if you've not done it before. What do you think that annual fund represents right there? Anybody get it? I'll let you chew on that for a second. That is actually the annual fund, almost, Dina, from the previous gift. It didn't forget it. So if you think about this visually, what's supposed to be happening in my flow is that we run through this loop, grab an append, grab an append, grab an append, right? And we did that. Join them together. We did that. Stuff that into an email and send it. We did that on the first gift. And then the second gift came around, happened to be Yoshi's. Yoshi comes through this loop the second time. He has 2 splits, grab and append, grab and append. Well, it never forgot the previous grab and append. And so we got one last task that we need to do with this variable, right? And if I zoom back out for just a moment and you kind of think about this, up at the top of the screen, when we start this guy, we initialize it first. Then, everybody okay still hearing me? Christopher's saying that he can't hear.
Yeah, I was just checking. I hear you.
Very cool.
Others can-
All right. Then we come down to the append. We join together, but it never forgets the data that was in there before it goes on from the last one. So we need a way to go back and reset that variable after we use it so that it forgets the previous gift information that was up there. So I'm going to edit the flow for the final time. And down here beneath the email, after I'm done with the email, I'm going to add one additional action. This is another variable action called set variable. Set variable. We'll see it pop up somewhere here. And we're going to set that variable to anybody? Any thoughts on what we should set the variable to? You probably used the term before. Null, exactly. I want to set this variable to null. So I'm going to select variable fund that has been incrementing each time. And I'm going to set that variable value to null. And the way we do that in Power Automate is with a left square bracket and a right square bracket joined right together each other. No spaces, no quotation marks. A little bit different than maybe what we've seen in other instances. Okay. So when I save that and do my last final test, we will see that it forgets for Yoshi the fund that Alex had, and will report back just the 2 items that Yoshi had that should have had in the first place, right? So we'll go ahead and do my final test and my final run. And we'll wait for some output. I'll head back to my email and clean up while we're waiting for that to appear. Again, Alex's email isn't going to look any different because he only had the one fund, the annual fund, but Yoshi's is now going to appear with only the 2 funds, or should appear with only the 2 funds that we saw. So there's Alex with just the annual fund. And when I open up the second gift for Yoshi, we could see that we now have accurately both just the computer equipment fund and the annual fund. All right. So awesome sauce over there to be able to go back and add some additional values. Now, again, I'm not seeing the split amount, but it is something that you can accomplish. If we go back and we add another variable up at the top of the screen to initialize some split amounts, and then we pull that split amount into another array, we can grab it and grab it and grab it, and then we can throw that back with a join below it that would show the actual splits. But again, I'm going to run out of time to be able to do that. So Megan asks, great question. What would you do if you want to send a list of gifts as one email? I need to noodle on that and think about it a little bit. There is a way to accomplish that, but you called me out and I'm trying to think about it right here in the last minute or two. So let me think about that a little bit, Megan. Brenda, is there a way after this event is over that I will have a list of all the Q&A and that I will be able to reach back to folks if I can? Do you know?
Yes, as far as I know, we'll get the Q&A.
Okay, cool. So if I can, you can bear me a little bit of time and perhaps try to respond back to some of these questions. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit all of them, but I will certainly do my best to try to get some of those to you. All right. So in the last minute or two, just to kind of summarize where we've come, we did a little bit of a review. We started from a blank slate and we started adding what has turned into be a pretty complex, I think you will agree, pretty complex flow. I got to zoom out pretty far to be able to see the entirety of that flow, even if I make it full screen. So we started with nothing and we have something, pretty awesome in terms of what it can do. And again, you can imagine taking this and twisting and turning it and doing lots of additional things to it. So we learned some of those basic building blocks. We talked about formatting numbers. We talked about formatting dates. We talked about adding hyperlinks to a constituent record. And then we dove into this kind of shady topic of dealing a little bit with variables, which may have been a totally new process for some of you. So here's my encouragement to you. I mentioned yesterday in class this resource. So for those of you that have it, you already have this resource. For those of you that don't, I'm going to go ahead and place it into the chat panel right now. Please bookmark that link. It is a Blackbaud link that helps you get started with lots of good information within the Blackbaud resource page for Power Automate. So leverage that as you need it. Okay. This is my email. Again, I will attempt to communicate with as many of you as I can, and vice versa. I open that up back to you. Again, I can't be a private help desk, but I love hearing from students and I love helping them maybe figure out little things. So if I can't do that, we could maybe point you to the appropriate resources to do so. And along the way, we have hopefully identified a little bit of information about these variables to help you understand that a little bit more as well. Okay, so I really want to thank everybody for the time that you've been here. Sorry for the little blip that we had with the communication. Please keep an eye out for the recording. Obviously, the best thing you can do is get a hold of that recording, watch it again, perhaps with another screen open, so that you can follow along a little bit slowly by pausing things as we go. I know this was like drinking from a fire hose, but oftentimes it intends to be that way just because of the time that we've got. I hope to see some of you back in possibly a Blackbaud University class. And if I do that, please remind me. Don't forget BBCon coming up in October in Philadelphia. I will be there teaching 4 classes, including this class and the class I taught yesterday. So if you're there and want to retake that, that's often awesome. And if you can't be there for the pre-conference workday where we're teaching, then please stop down at the Blackbaud University booth to meet me. I'd love to meet you personally. So thank you, everybody, for attending. Really, really appreciate everybody taking the time to be here today. And you all take care and have a great night. See you next time.